Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where we're working step by step through the ABRSM Theory Grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets. You can download those in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. There's a page with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also access information about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to best make use of the time when you're in the exam room. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find it all there. If you can give me a like, that'd be fab, and subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. And so now we're going to have a look at the practice papers from 2017, beginning with paper A. So if you turn with me to the first question, which is marked page 3, and we'll have a look at this together. Now I do suggest that you have a go at this on your own first of all. It's always better to learn by your mistakes, and so it doesn't matter if you go wrong. You always only ever write it in pencil, a nice sharp pencil. I use a mechanical pencil here, and you will need an eraser and a ruler, and then we're all ready to get cracking. So I'm hoping that you've had a go of this yourself, and now we'll look through the answers together. And so the first question asks us to add missing bar lines to these two melodies. There are two separate melodies, so we're going to be looking at two different time signatures, so just watch out for that. They've given us the first bar line in each case, so that should help us as well. So this first exercise here is 3/4, 3/4 notes or 3 crotchet beats per bar. So we're counting 3 crotchet beats or whatever adds up to the equivalent. And so here we have a note with 2 beats. Here we have a note with 1 beat. 2 plus 1 is 3, and there's our bar line. And so let's continue in that manner. So we've got a 1 beat, a 1 beat, and a 1 beat. So there's our first bar line. There's our first 3. Now here we've got a 1 beat. This is worth 1 beat, and then the dot is worth half as much again, so that's half of a beat. And then here we've got a quaver or an 8th note, that's worth half a beat. So 1 add 1 is 2 plus 2 halves makes 3. And so that gives us our next bar line. And then to continue to the end, we've got a 1 beat, a 1 beat, and we've got a 1 beat rest as well. That's our 3 beats, and so we know we're correct at the end. Let's have a look at the next one. So here we've got 2/4, 2/4 notes or 2 quarter notes or 2 crotchet beats or whatever adds up to the equivalent. And so here we've got a half and a half, which makes 1. A half and a half makes another 1. There's our 2 beats. So there's the first bar line. And then we can see here half and a half, half and a half. I'll put that one in just, yeah. So that's done. So that's the next bar line. Now here we've got a 1 beat, a half a beat, and then here this is a quarter and this is a quarter. These are semiquavers or 16th notes that are worth 1/4 of a beat each. So 2 quarters make a half, and so there's our 1 plus 2 halves. We can see that's our next bar line. And then a half and a half, a half and a half, that's 2 beats. And then a 1 beat note and a 1 beat rest. That's our final 2 beats, and so we know we're correct. Let's go on to the next question. So the next question, we're asked to draw a circle around the higher note of each of these pairs of notes. And you may find it helpful just on a scrap of paper to just sketch out a quick piano keyboard. You don't need to make it artistically wonderful. Just make sure that you can neatly see what's going on. And that might be a visual aid to help you. And so first of all, we're asked to draw a circle around the higher note of each of these pairs of notes. And so we've got here an A natural and an A flat. So there's A natural, there's A flat. The A natural is the higher of the pair, so we need to circle that one. And also we know that a flat lowers a note by a semitone, so this must be the lowest necessarily. Let's move on. So we have here a G natural and a G sharp. Let's just look at that. There's a G natural and a G sharp. The sharp is the higher note of the two. We can see that. So that's that one. And also we know that a sharp raises a note by a semitone. And so we know that this must be the higher. And so let's carry on. So we have a D natural and a D flat. D natural and a D flat. Of course, the natural must be the higher one because a flat lowers by a semitone. And so we know that we need the natural. Now in the treble clef, we've got a D sharp and a D natural. So we've got a D sharp and a D natural. The sharp, of course, is the higher one of the two because a sharp raises by a semitone. And then finally in this little section we've got a B flat and a B natural. And so if we look at that, a B flat and a B natural, the natural is the higher of the two. And so we can circle that, and we know that also because a flat lowers by a semitone, so the flat must be lower. Let's have a look at the next question. Now the next question asks us to circle the lowest of the pair. So remember, a flat lowers, a sharp raises, and so we can work it out that way, but we'll just take a closer look and we'll look in detail. So here in the treble clef we have an E flat and an E natural. A flat lowers, so E flat, E natural. We know that the flat is the lower because a flat lowers by a semitone, and so we'll circle that one. In the next example we have a C natural and a C sharp. C natural, C sharp. And so we know that the lowest note has got to be the natural because a sharp raises by a semitone. We have the same again here. We have an A natural and an A sharp. A natural, A sharp. We can see that the natural is the lowest of the pair because a sharp raises by a semitone. And so the lower note needs circling. That's the natural. We have here now in the bass clef an A natural and an A flat. So A natural, A flat. We know that a flat lowers by a semitone, and therefore the flat must be the lowest. And then in the last part of this question we have an F natural and an F sharp. An F natural and an F sharp. We know that a sharp raises by a semitone, the natural therefore is the lowest, and so we circle the natural sign, and that's that question complete. So if you turn the page, we'll just turn the page to the next question. So we're going to have a look at question 3, and question 3 asks us to write out some scales. Now we're asked to use semi-breves or whole notes. So we don't need to worry about stems. We need to write 1 octave of the scales named below. Now just here be careful, they could ask us this question in different ways. We could write a key signature, however here we're asked not to use key signatures, but we must add any necessary accidentals. So here we need to write the scale of C major in the treble clef ascending, so that means we're going to be going upwards. And so I'm going to begin on a low C. So in the treble clef I'm going to begin on middle C. Here we know that the lines go every good boy deserves football, E, G, B, D, F. So if that's the E, step down, D, C, we can work it out there as our starting point. And so now we just need to go in step. Remember, scale means step, so we're going to go line, space, next door notes for 8 steps, and that gives us C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So we've just gone line, space, line, space, line, space, line, space from the starting point. Now C major has a key signature of nothing. There are no sharps and no flats, and so this is now complete. There's nothing extra to add to complete this scale. In the next question, we're asked to write F major descending, so we're going to be coming downwards. So we need to start on a high F and we're in the bass clef. So let's just get the steps of the scale marked out to begin with. So good boys to the football, there's our F. So coming down in step, space, line, space, line, space, just went over a little bit there, line, space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 takes us to bottom F. Now F major has a key signature of B flats. We're not required to write a key signature, so we need to add it as an accidental. So F, G, A, B flat, or good boys, from the poem Good Boys Deserve Football. To work out your note, there's our B flat, and that's now complete. Let's move on to the next question. And so question 4 is relating to these triads. We've got some tonic triads. Question 4 asks us first of all to add the correct clef to each of these tonic triads. So for this to be G major, bear in mind that G major has a key signature of F sharps, and the tonic, or the bottom of the tonic triad, needs to be G. We need this to be in the treble clef for every good. There's our lower note G. So this must be in the treble clef. Let's look at the next one. So D major, of course, must begin with the lowest note of a D. D major has a key signature of F sharps and C sharps. So for this to be a D, we need this to be in the bass clef. For good boys deserve. If we wrote the wrong clef, that would no longer be a D. If we put that in the treble clef, that would be a B, which would be the wrong note. We need the tonic of D major, which is D, to be at the bottom of the chord. And so now we can name the letter names of the tonic triad, and we know that it's the first, the third and the fifth. So we know that it should be G, B, D, and we can double check our clef to make sure that's correct. And we can see here every good boys deserve G, B, D, and so we can just go on and name those notes. The first, the third and the fifth notes of the scale give us the tonic triad. And so here we know our lowest note is D, and that those lines are good boys deserve football, always D, F, A, the first, the third and the fifth. However, remember we've got a key signature of F sharp, so it's not F, it's F sharp to be exact, to get all of those marks. So it's a D, F sharp, A, first, third and fifth. And that completes that question. And so we're just going to look at the next question, which is looking at note values and comparative rest values. So we're asked to write next to each note a rest of the same value, and they've shown us this here. So here we have a quaver with a dot, or an eighth note with a dot, and so we have an eighth note rest or a quaver rest, and again we need to put the dot so that it's exactly the same time value as the note. Here we have a semi-quaver or a 16th note, which looks very much like the quaver or the eighth note rest. It's a bit like a number 7 with a little bit of a blob on the end. And so to make it into a semi-quaver, as the note has 2 tails, we sort of need to add an extra line here on the rest to make that a semi-quaver rest. So next one, we have a 2-beat note, a minim or a half note, and the rest for that just sits on the middle line. Now that's easily confused with the semi-breve or whole note rest that we can see here, so we'll look at that and we'll just see what the difference between those is. Now the whole note rest or the semi-breve rest just hangs from the 4th line, and so I would remember that's a 4-beat note and the rest hangs off the 4th line, so that's just a little bit of a clue, a tip on how to best remember that. Let's move on. So here we've got a crotchet or a quarter note, and the rest that has the same value as that is this rest here. A little bit tricky to draw. I do sort of a Z with a C hooked on the bottom, but that will suffice. And then here we have a quaver. Now this time there's no rest, but if you were stuck, we can see that the answer is almost given to us here. Here's our quaver rest or eighth note rest. This time, however, we don't need the dot, and so that's complete. And so that ends that paper for now. We'll look into the next questions in the next video. I do hope that you're finding this helpful. If you can give me a like, that'd be really encouraging. That'd be fab. Please do subscribe to keep updated and share this out. I do hope that you're enjoying this. I hope it's beneficial to you. Please do visit sharonbill.com and make use of all the resource available to you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.